tomorrow regarding probability. Okay. So I see a couple of new people. So Ishita, are you a participant or
She is
you
an
are?
invitee. She is an invitee from Kanpur, right, Ishita?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you are in which class, Ishita?
11th.
Oh wow. And I see one more Bak.
Kirali. He, uh,
He's Asif's nephew, huh? Asif is there, no? Bakir.
yes.
But please interact, huh?
Okay, sure. And there is one more. Okay, there was some lost,
Koshki.
but Kaushiki I know, right? All
Yes.
rest of them. So guys, briefly about me, right? I like science and I play with science and maths. That's my hobby, and that's where I conduct these workshops with Avnish, Shishir, Hasmukh, and we all bring up these workshops for you guys. So I hope you will enjoy, but let's just start. Let's not wait more. Let me share my screen. Yeah. So today's topic is inequality. How many of you know what is inequality?
Sir, something which is not equal, that's like.
Manan?
Yeah. Could you please repeat?
So what is inequality?
Inequality is basically like a difference between two things. Like they're not the same.
Mm-hmm. Ishita?
So inequality means something which is not equal.
Okay. Kaushiki, where do you use inequality in your life, in your daily life?
Comparing,
Hmm?
like comparing two things.
Right. I think that's the answer I was looking for. So that's a good one, Kaushiki. Uh,
एक
and
आंसर मैं भी दूं.
I'm sorry, Avnish.
एक आंसर मैं भी दूं.
आपका नंबर आया अवनीश, एक मिनट रुकिए, अभी एक और स्टूडेंट बचा हुआ है.
Okay.
सॉरी, बाइकराली, हाउ डू यू?
Bakir Ali.
बकीर अली. ओके, बकीर अली. बकीर अली, आप बताएंगे क्या होता है इनइक्वालिटीज? You have to unmute yourself, Bakir Ali. Okay, it seems there is some challenge. So, Avnish, instead of asking Shaurya, I am asking you, okay? Let's see what answer you give. Avnish, go ahead.
Okay. So according to me, when you play a game, you always want to win. So you don't want to be equal to the other team. You want to be something more than the other team.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the kind of there are two things, and one is more than the other. That's inequality.
Okay, that's good. So let us come back here.
That's given like a true competitive IITian.
Yes.
Yes. Now, I mean, I actually was thinking about this topic, and let us see how many of you agree about uh, this once we during the end of the session, right? So one of the most important thing which comes with inequality is where to stop. Decision can be made only if you understand inequalities. Okay, and this applies to every problem in real life, right? You don't want to put more effort when it is not giving you any results, right? You would like to study as much as you need to get 100 marks or whatever marks you are targeting for an exam, but you never want to. I mean, of course, it's good that if you have more, but then, of course, right, there are challenges to do more and more all the time. So you need to decide, right, what is the best possible you can do, and that possible is defined by the, if you know the inequalities, you can take a better decision. So let's play some. I mean, I'm sure all of you must have heard age related problems, uh, right? All of you can keep yourself unmute unless there is a lot of noise around you. So how many of you agree with this statement?
Sir, but never remains half in what sense?
Okay, let's see what it means. On the right, you have three people and their ages as of today. Correct? A, person A is 10-year-old, person B is 40-year-old, person C is 30-year-old. And you have to find when person A will be more than half of the age of C, but less than the half of the age B. And take your time. I'll give you a couple of minutes here, okay? So take your pen and paper and think. And as you know, always you have to explain your answer or your understanding, okay? So let's take a couple of minutes here. Sorry, I'll keep it
Yeah,
open.
keep the problem open,
Notes.
yes.
While kids do this or attempt to try this question, I have a quick take on inequality versus equality. Equality is like exact, an exact solution, like right on the line itself. While inequality represents a larger set of solutions and area on either side of that line. Now it depends how you graph it up properly if it's an equation. So it may not be a line, it can be a curve. So for me, an inequality represents a much larger area of solutions rather than an equal to just an equality in the form of an equation.
Are people able to make progress or anyone is stuck?
Sir? Hello?
Yeah.
So the answer will be 16, 17, 18 and 19. All these ages of A.
Okay. So Kaushiki, hold on with your answers, but you have to draw it on your paper if possible, if you have some ideas, and then we will talk about it, okay?
Okay.
मनन कहाँ तक पहुंचे?
Yeah, I'm still thinking.
Sir, A is oh, it is not equal. Sir, the age of A has to be 21. Then it will be more than half of C, but less than half of B.
So that
Write down your answer and we will discuss it. So one more
Okay.
minute. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Ishita, are you done?
So the age of person A will be greater than 15 and less than 20.
Shaurya, are you done?
No, sir.
Still thinking? Okay. Bakir Ali, are you done? Okay. So now I'll ask everyone to stop, okay? And you have to listen in the way everyone else has been trying. So Kaushiki, would you like to go ahead and explain how did you get that answer?
Yeah, okay. So what I wrote is
So Kaushiki, it will be good if you explain me the problem itself, okay? So one is of course answers, but I'm still interested, how did you get to the answer? What were you thinking?
okay, can you open the slide again then? I'll
Yeah.
just see the question again. So in this it's I like interpreted the question like this. If A, when will A be more than half of C, which is 50, and less than half of B, which is 20? So when will A be more like less more than 15 and less than 20? So the answer will be when he is like his age is 16, 17, 18 or 19. All these ages will satisfy it.
Okay, let us consider age 20. So C will be,
So when he's like older than 15 but younger than 20.
yeah, okay, makes sense. Ishita, you want to go next?
So same what she explained.
I'm sorry?
So this is what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
so she agrees with Kaushiki.
Okay. Janil?
Sir, I made a table and I wrote down the ages for ABC and kept on adding. So kept on adding one. So I reached 21, which is greater than half of 41 for C, because at that time his age will be 41. So half of it will be 20.5. So their age of A will be 21, and it will still be less than half of age of A, which is 25.5. That's how I did it.
What is the age, Janil? 20?
21
Sir,
for A.
21. Sir, age of A will be 21.
Age of A will be 21. So when the age of A will be 21, what will be the age of C?
Sir, at that time the age of C will be 41 and age of B will be 51.
Okay. So 21 into 42. Makes sense. So Kaushiki did 20. So why are you getting 21?
Sir, because when A is 20, B is equal to 40, so it will not be less than but equal to.
Uh-huh. Okay, that's smart. Shaurya?
I couldn't get an answer because I was mostly thinking of how I could increase all of the ages altogether, and in which case will 10 A's age become more than half of 30 and less than half of B's age.
Okay. So you sort of were thinking what is the best way of solving it, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Manan?
Yeah, I got 21. Uh, so what I did was I tried to check I tried to check what the ages for A, B, and C will be when A is 20 years old. I just plugged in 20 to see if it satisfies the condition, but it didn't. And then I tried 21, it didn't work either. So I tried 21. I tried 22, and it didn't work. And then I tried 21, and it worked.
Okay. So one of the thing, right, all of you did is in a different way. I think some of you did a trial and error. Janil's approach was different because he actually sort of calculated everything and then he started seeing it's changing. So that's also one way of looking at it. He did not really go for a trial and error, right? Manan, you were trying to get a range by
Yeah, I
trying
was trying to get a
one.
range.
Yeah. So, by the way, all of them are brilliant strategies of solving any question. So, think whenever you are getting any problem in your books, you know, play around with these numbers first, and that's the best way of solving inequalities, by the way. So, coming back to Shishir, Avnish, you want to say something about the problem?
Yes, the age of A can be 21 up to 29. That's the range. That condition will be satisfied.
Hmm. Okay. So, I think all of you actually got it right. The question was about the range of of the age which we were asking, right? And it was not about a specific number. And this is what is very common with the inequalities is that inequalities do not have one answer. Inequalities always you try to answer in terms of the range. Correct? Am I making sense? Sure, you're getting it right. We always talk in terms of range,
Yes.
and that's the very important part of inequalities. Inequalities will never, I mean, of course, in special cases, they turn out to be equalities, but in general, they are always in the range, the most generic answer. And that is the most important identification that you are dealing with the inequalities whenever we are talking about range. We don't talk about specifics, okay? So let us try to solve the next problem, which is again very similar. So again, I'll give you a couple of minutes. Try it.
Sir, of both A and B, meaning the sum of the age of A and B.
Sorry, it's a typo. C and D.
No, I think what he is still asking was, do we need to take the sum of B and C or they individually?
No, individually.
So I had a question.
Uh-huh.
Do we have to take the current age, or do we have to let it keep increasing it till we have a satisfactory answer? Like I
No,
took the current ages last time.
Uh-huh.
So my answer was something like 16 to 19.
It's
So
your
you
approach, right? I'm just saying it's not necessarily current, right? I'm asking when. So it can be in future also.
okay, so in
So
future when all of their ages are like increasing, then
Yeah. So it could be current age also, or it could be
I
somewhere in the past, right? You have to tell me when A was less than one third of C as well as one third of B.
yeah.
Come on, this is not a big question, okay? I'm just going to give you a minute here, another minute, and then we have to answer. Okay, time up. Sharia,
I am still solving here.
what is there to solve this time, Sharia? Okay, tell me the question. Explain what you were trying. What is the question?
So the question is that after how much time, I mean, what age should A be so that B, it should be less than one third of B and C.
So
So
not
if,
sum, okay, individually. So it should be less than
yes,
one third of C or and one third of B.
yes,
That's what you were trying, right? Okay, I'll
yes.
come back to you. Okay, you still think. Manan, it seems Manan dropped off. Maybe he pressed the.
Yeah, can you?
Yes, Manan.
Yeah, so I got the answer as long as A is less than 9 years.
What? Sorry, you have to repeat, Manan.
My answer is the range. It's a range as long as A is less than 10 years old, 9 years or below.
Okay, but I'm interested. How did you find it?
So first, what I did was I tried to check in like the like the present age, using the present ages, try to see the if the ages match the condition, and A was exactly one third of C, so the age had to be lower. And then I tried A as 9 years old, and it worked out. So I got the answer as 9.
Okay, Kaushiki.
I'm still trying.
But Kaushiki, it is this one is actually simple one. So what is that you are trying to do? While
I've kind of made a table and keep I'm increasing their age
uh-huh.
one by one. And then I add C and B and see if the if the age is satisfying the condition or not till now it
Okay.
isn't.
Ishita,
Yeah.
I'm asking
Yes,
now
sir.
Shika too. Thanks, Kaushiki.
Sir, can you just get back to the slide? Yes, sir. So, sir, I got A to be less than 10 as it is given when A will be less than one third of both C and B. So first I took out that A is less than one third multiplied by 30, so it came out to be 10. So this is the only range, A to be less than 10. All the numbers below 10. For C,
Hello.
Okay.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, Jenny.
Sir, actually, I lost connection. Sir, the number has to be less than 10. A has to be less than.
Okay. Now, Shaurya, you want to share your thought?
So after I was doing the same thing that Kaushiki was doing, I was continuously adding up at least a few numbers around 5, 25, 55, and 45. Around those ages, it seemed very close, but it gets into a problem with B all the time.
So, okay, I think um take us, keep your notebook with you. Okay, I would like to see what you were trying, but I'll do it later. So, Shaurya, what? Sorry, I think you dropped that. Okay, no, he's there.
Shari is there.
Let me just explain, right, what's happening here. In between 1 and 2, right, the the first problem which you were actually trying to do, right? Now, what are the important things about age? It always increases. Every year it increases by 1 and exactly 1. Correct?
Yes.
So
Yes.
all A, B, and C will increase by the same rate.
Yes.
Correct? Now, the second thing is, right, which actually that is the third problem. So can all of you, this is a 30-second problem. So can all of you solve this one for me now?
A minus B and A minus C are both negative. You want to be maximum.
Yes. Let me do a slight correction here. Yeah. Shaurya, what is the answer?
We can reduce. Wait a second. I'm not changing the ages of the other quantities.
Come on, Ishita.
50. Hello?
Yeah.
Sir, 50.
When it will be maximum. You are reading the question correctly, Ishita. I'm asking when, not what is the maximum. When?
Oh, so just a minute. Sir, after uh,
Manan.
Yeah, the sum of B minus C and C minus A, it will always remain the same because the difference in ages doesn't change. So the sum won't change either.
Janil.
Sir, I was not sure, but I think Manan's answer is right.
And Bakir Ali, I'm not sure if you can talk, Bakir Ali, but let me know if you can unmute yourself and also talk. Otherwise, I'm not asking you questions. I thought you're not able to speak. Bakir Ali? Okay. It seems, right, there is some... Hasmukh, can you in the background check with Bakir Ali if he can talk or he cannot? Okay. So coming back to this question. So all of you, as I said, right, it increases one every year and exactly one for all three of them. The second thing is, right, the age difference will remain constant always. And that is what Manan also said. And that is why, right, when the sum will be maximum, so there are two things about this inequality. One, this value never changes, which means this inequality will hold true always, because the maximum is, I think, how much is 30 and 20, 50, right? So maximum sum is 50 and it will be same forever. So this inequality is one of the unique one that where it is true always, right? So now let's come back to this question, right? So as I said, one increases by one, always increases by one for each one of them. Second, the difference will always remain this. Now coming back to this question, right? Why this question is actually one of the easiest? Because we all know that B is greater than C. So technically, right, it if it is if the one third if it is one third of C, then it is always less than one third of B, no matter what. Correct? Because B
I
is...
think it's opposite what you just said.
Oh yeah, sorry. B is 40, C is 30. No, if it is
Oh,
one
okay.
third of C.
Yeah, sorry. I think.
Yeah, I know. Maybe you assume, right? B is 30 and C is...
Yeah, I
Anyway.
think something wrong.
Okay, so Ishita, you're getting it, because that's where I was thinking, right? You should be able to answer it very quickly. So the only challenge you had is to figure out when it is less than one third of C.
Yes, sir.
Correct. Now, what is important about all these? So we have still not solved the last one, but what is important about all these inequalities? So the first inequality, as you saw, right, is a range. The second inequality, what is important about this inequality?
Sir, we just have to find when A will be less than one third of C, because C is lesser than B, and if A is one third of C, it will always be one third of B.
Of course, that is one thing, but the second part is, right, it's not a range problem.
Sir, it is...
It's only one side. So only one side is binded, right? 10 years. But otherwise, anything less than 10 would have worked.
No, still that is a range because it can't be 0.
I mean, yeah. So because we are using the age, yes, you are right, Amish, right? From the age point of view. But
Yes.
0 if 0 and 9, so there is like all the ages less than 10. So it's bounded by only one side, not the other side of the age, right? Because other age is always greater than age will be always 0 at the minimum. This one, important part is this inequality is always true kind of inequalities. So these are different type of inequalities we are actually seeing in all the three. It's bounded on uh, two sides, and this one is bounded on only one side, and this one is always true. Am I making sense?
No answers.
I don't hear any answers, so that makes me
Yes, sir.
nervous.
I wanted to.
Ishita, are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shaurya?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you have any questions, let me know. But I'm moving ahead with, again, right, this was just a prelim. I'll not solve this question for now, but we'll come back to it later.
But before you leave, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You're saying when sum of these two numbers, but you're writing you're actually writing the product of these two numbers. So what is right? Product or sum?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Thank you for the correction, Amish. I mean, I was doing copy pasting and that's why I probably missed it. So thank you. Yeah. So the range, right? So we'll simplify this range problem. So the question here is, I have a tower one tower in my city, and the range of that tower is 30 kilometers. So where I will be connected?
Sir, whenever you are in range of 30, whenever you are in a radius of 30 kilometers of the tower.
You answered my question as as the answer, right? Same thing. So what is that? That is what you have to tell. So Ishita, I'm looking for a precise answer.
Sir, can you please repeat?
I'm sorry?
Sir, can you please pardon?
So you have a mobile car at a point A and with a range of 30 kilometers. So if you want to be connected, where all you can go?
Um,
Manan?
Yeah. As long as if you take the tower as a center, if you draw a circle with a radius 30 kilometers, as long as you are within the circle, you're gonna be connected to it.
Okay. Kaushiki?
As long as you're inside the range of 30 kilometers.
That I know, right? That if I'm inside the range of 30 kilometers. That is the
Yeah, then
question. I understand. If I am in the range, I'll get it. But what is that range?
30 kilometers, the radius inside the circle with the radius of 30 kilometers.
Oh. Shaurya. I think, yeah, Shaurya.
If you're standing anywhere at a distance or less of 30 kilometers from the tower.
Okay. So that is the answer, right? It's like you are taking my question as an answer. Because if you are in the range of 30 kilometer, you get it. But what is that 30 kilometer range is the question, right?
So can you say it like if you are anywhere near in a sphere of 30 kilometers radius?
Correct.
Like
So actually,
in the air.
yes.
Or
So
in second floor, third floor.
right. So when all of you were answering, right, the question is, we all know if you are in the range of 30 kilometers, you you will have the signal. But what is that range? So that range can be defined with the circle, and if you are within that circle, you are good for your signals. Correct? So if I draw a circle here, sorry for my drawing, and let me just try once more. So if you are
We
here,
could also put it like a what can we say? Sir, a half of a sphere, hemisphere. Yes, yes. Like an hemisphere.
no,
With
we live in a plane, man. We don't fly, right? So we'll not talk about hemisphere. Okay, that's a good thought, by the way. So real life problems actually consider all that. So all these small circles which I'm drawing are the places where you won't get any signal, but all the crosses which I've drawn are the places where you will always have signal. Right, Ishita? Now, what is the point here, right? Why did I ask you this question? Ishita?
Yes, sir. So for the so to get that range which is greater than, which should not be greater than 30, because there will be no signal after that.
Okay. So the point I'm trying to make, of course, right, we all understand, but then, this is also one kind of a inequality, right? And this inequality, how do you define this inequality kind of a question, right? So one, you have some kind of a condition. All of you agree? Do you have a condition here?
yes, sir.
Kaushiki?
I got disconnected for a moment. Can you repeat?
So in all these problems, we are getting some kind of a condition, right?
Yes.
So what is that condition in this mobile tower question?
I did not. I didn't get to hear what answer you explained, but
Okay.
inside
So,
the 30-kilometer range again.
mhm. Shaurya, you want to take a chance?
So you have the condition in this was being in the 30-kilometer area.
Right. And what was the condition was against, because this condition should be against some kind of a purpose, right? And what was that purpose, Ishita? So I
Sir,
think,
I did not understand your question.
okay.
Purpose of,
So purpose here was to stay connected, right?
yes, sir.
Right? That's your purpose. And your condition was
To be
that
within the 30 kilometers.
within the 30 kilometers. And what was the result?
Result is there are two results. If you are inside the range, you'll get the connection, and if you're not, and if you're outside the range, then you won't get the connection.
That is obvious. So what I'm trying to tell you is, right, the result was a circle. And circle is a geometrical representation of this range, correct? Which easily you can visualize that what is happening. You are within the range, outside the range, and it's a very simple representation, correct? That's what all of us will do if we have been given a pen and paper. Now these ranges, right, in this case it was very simple. It's driven by a circle, right? So you can actually draw it very easily. The real life ranges are very different, right? They can be in a different shapes. But what you need to understand, right, all these ranges, so every inequality problem will have variables, it will have a condition, and it will have a objective. So your variable is your position. You are going to have multiple positions possible, right? That's your variable. And we need to find in which variable will satisfy the condition so that you achieve your objective. Am I making sense, Ishita, here?
Yes, sir.
Right? Now, what kind of conditions you are aware of? Shaurya.
Uh, the only condition is the 30 km thing, I think.
No, no, in general. I'm asking in general, what kind of conditions you see in real life?
For conditions in real life, you have like you can't jump from top of a 3-floor building or something because gravity will add up force to break your legs.
So that's again a condition, right?
Yes.
Right. But in general, how do you represent those conditions in mathematics? Janet.
Sir, so suppose you just have 100 rupees and you are allowed to buy anything that you want. So here the condition is whatever you buy must be lesser than 100 rupees, lesser than or equal to 100 rupees.
Right. So maybe so the question or the point I'm trying to make, right? The conditions are less than, greater than. Those are the primary conditions, at least as far as so far we have got. Correct? Can you think of any other conditions?
Uh, Sir, like mathematical condition.
Yeah, but can you think of more conditions? Ishita?
So I'm just thinking.
Manan?
So can you repeat the question?
So, as we have seen, conditions are needed, right? Kaushiki, less than, greater than, or equal to, these are standard conditions. But are there any other conditions possible? Avnish?
Yes, I think most of the time the conditions are either less or more or equal. These are three possible conditions.
Okay, Shishir?
You can combine conditions, and one can even define a small piece of line segment as it is greater than some number and less than some number. So
Correct, but
you can,
you're saying it's more of a combination. So
yeah.
let me tell you. Sorry, Shishir, you want to say something now?
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's more of a combination. So all of us probably understand it, less than and greater than. It could be a combination. Like the first problem we had is it should be greater than one third of C, one half of C, but less than one half of age of B. Right. So the questions like this, but they are still combination. But and I'm again trying to tell you, and these are applicable for real life as well as in your question papers. And Nishita, for you, because you're in a standard 11, right? You need to look for such points for sure in your whenever you're getting questions. So one of the important conditions, which are sometimes implicit or sometimes explicit, are your numbers cannot be. It should be a natural number, like sorry, it should be an integer. That's one of the conditions sometimes is implied. So let's say if we are talking about uh, producing the cars, right? So you can always produce 100 cars, 200 cars, but you can never produce 100.25 cars. Can you?
No.
So there's a restriction on the kind of values. So that's
Correct.
another set of conditions. It can also be not equal to a certain value.
Yeah, not equal to and equal to, greater than, less than are a standard inequalities
Hello.
Yep.
we have already
हाँ,
seen. But what I am trying
ये
to
ड्रॉप कराने वाले हैं और वहाँ पे ड्रॉप करने वाले हैं?
uh, uh,
ओके, ठीक है.
okay, Ishita is on some point. So, Ishita, are you getting with this one? Like, you cannot have 1.5 for the car, correct?
So it should be a whole number. There should be a whole number.
It should be an integer, right?
Yes, sir.
Some other condition. So, the another condition which is sort of
Hey, sorry to interrupt. There was a catchy point here. What Ishita mentioned, it has to be a whole number for a car. You cannot go into integers because integers get into negative. You cannot have a -1 or -3 cars.
correct. That's a finer print whole number definition. You are right, Shishi. So another condition, and once again, this is something, right, you need to look out for. So especially when I'm looking for a division, right? So let's say if somewhere in the problem it's talking about dividing the cars between the two people given some conditions. So can you tell me what is the implicit condition in this problem?
Yeah, once again, it has to be
Greater
a
than 0.
positive natural number.
No, it's more than that in this case, right? It has to be an even number. Only then you can divide between two people.
No, means I can divide one even one on, right?
I mean, equal.
Okay, equal, fine.
So I'm just mentioning, right, that these conditions are implied based on nature of the problem or based on the conditions given. There could be some more special conditions, right, that a number should be square or a number should be a prime number or it should be an odd number or divisible by 7. So there are a lot of other conditions possible, but those are very special conditions. In general, what we talk about is only less than, greater than, and equal to. And the very simple example of understanding all of those conditions is this mobile tower example, right? Whatever is inside is less than, whatever is outside the circle is greater than, and whatever is on the perimeter of circle is equal. Correct? Manan, is it making sense?
Yeah, it's making sense.
Right? So what all you need to be careful of while solving these inequalities is look for, so standard inequalities we all know, but there are some special possibilities like implicit or explicitly mentioned in conditions. So I'm talking about conditions, right, which will impact your choice of variable. Okay, so let's.
Yes, and most of the time we end up, not most of them, many times we miss out such condition, which even if it is explicitly mentioned. So I think that's very important while trying to come with answer to make sure all the things which are provided are satisfied.
Correct. One of the important thing is, right, every statement in the question, and I'm just restricting myself to the questions you either get in JEE or any other exam. Most of the time, in 99.99%, every line in that question somehow is giving a clue about that condition. So, think about it and make sure you are converting all of them into the conditions and try to solve it. Okay, let's come to this question now. How many of you can draw this with pencils and threads?
Sir,
Think about it, okay? You have 1 minute and you have to show me
Sir,
after drawing it.
can I answer?
No, for a minute, after a minute, all of us can answer. Hey, Vivek, I think you're trying to speak. Please go ahead and unmute
Yeah,
yourself and talk.
draw what? I didn't understand.
Circle.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Janil?
sir, what we could do is attach one end of the thread to the paper, and so we will and attach another end to the pencil, and the first end will be the thread will be sort of like a radius, and we have to stretch it to the maximum, and try to make a circle. We will get.
So
Yes.
I'll keep my thread here. I'll tie this thread to my pencil here, and then I'll draw. And you're saying it will draw a circle. What is that which is holding this? Manan,
What we can do is we can tie two pencils together with the thread, hold one pencil at the center, and then use the other pencil to go around and draw the circle.
and then I can draw whatever I want, right?
Yeah.
I want to draw circle, none. So let's move to Shaurya. Manan,
My
you're
idea was also kind of like what Manan was saying.
yeah.
Manan's idea was I used the same logic that it wasn't specified that you have to use only one pencil. So we use one pencil in the center, we hold it down, we take the thread and stretch it to the maximum, and then we draw and connect the other end of the thread to another pencil. Since it's stretched to the maximum, it will always draw a circle.
Okay. Kaushiki,
It's the same, but I would like to modify it. Instead of tying both the ends to a pencil, just tie the thread in a circle and put one, and then like you get two ends. Then, like if you tie the circle in a circle, the thread, and then put the two pencils in it, and then like stretch it to its maximum and draw it. You might not be able to adjust it, but the pencil wouldn't move more. It's like more practical when you come to drawing.
Kaushiki, you have to repeat yourself. I didn't understand your way.
Like you tie the circle, like the thread in a loop. Like
Yes.
so you have drawn one line over there, right? Now just draw one more, taking the pencil inside it, another pencil too. It's more
Inside.
easier. No, just draw it just like a millimeter below the one line you have drawn. Uh,
Maybe I'll ask Amish, you got what Kaushiki is trying to tell?
No, I think I was also a bit unsure what she actually said, because she also kind of reduced the requirement for one punch in the center. If you're saying something else, so I'm not sure.
Okay, so you're saying like thread should be kept here somewhere in the this one?
No, all I'm saying is you have to just tie the circle in a circle first and then insert two pencil at both the ends. Done.
I think what she's trying to say, and let maybe she can confirm if I'm saying it correct. You create a loop of that thread. छोटा सा गांठ लगा
Okay.
के at the very
So,
end. So it
okay,
becomes a
so
loop of thread, a circular
Yeah.
or rather a collapsible loop. I would not say
Okay,
a circular
okay,
loop.
okay.
Yes.
A
Then you
circle.
put one end of the loop on a stable pencil here, and the other pencil is slightly stretched out, and then you move it all around. It will smoothly make a circle.
correct.
Okay.
So
Yes.
once again, right? I'll touch upon this, and I want to clarify, right? Why I said I told you some of you that your answers are wrong. The steps are very important. I wanted to have a very precise steps in everything, right? So what Manan missed is he didn't say that you have to stretch to the maximum, right, Manan? You got that? You missed that point, and that is why I said your answer is not correct. So you need to think of all the steps, and that's what I was asking. So take a pencil, fix it here, then tie it. So one more thing which Kaushiki did is she actually clarified that it should be a loop. Okay, and then you Shaurya mentioned already that it should be stretched to the maximum, and then you draw whatever. So whatever number of times you will draw, it will always be a circle and the same circle. So you will actually get the perfect circle. So Ishita, Manan, is it making sense?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Right? And what it has to do with the inequalities, Ishita?
Um, Inequalities. So the thread, we have to spread it to the maximum. So that is what we can say.
So thread is sort of right driving your condition.
Huh?
Thread
So,
is making a condition here, right? You cannot stretch more than the thread available,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
right? So that is one, and once again, the range problem. So it's a reverse of the range problem, right? That this is the max range you can get given a thread.
So your voice is breaking.
Oh, okay. Is it all of you are facing that problem? Then
Yeah,
I'm.
a bit noise in terms of a wind blowing around you.
Yes.
It's not me then. Yeah. Is it better because
Yeah,
from my
better.
end there is no wind?
So in this case, coming back to the question, it would be if you want to put it like inequality, it should be the distance should be n- less, not less than, or rather not greater than r basically, if not equal to.
Correct.
That's what the stretch would mean.
Stretch would mean the distance is always constant, and that's the stretch, right? And that's why you are getting a circle.
Yeah, but how to put it in an inequality form? That's what trying to put a mathematical language of inequality around it.
Correct. So what I'm saying is you cannot draw a circle more than, so you can draw multiple circles with the thread, and you cannot draw a circle with a radius more than the thread you have right now. That's the limit or the range you can go for your circle. It's not
Okay,
a very
that's a good.
specific point. Shishir, just it's just a sort of explanation point. Nothing specific from mathematical angle as of now.
No,
No
it could be what is
specific.
the largest. I can change the problem a bit. I can say what is the largest of the range of the circles, or what is the range of the circles you can draw.
Yeah, actually, that would make it precise. Correct. So let us move to the next one. Can all of you read the question here?
Missile says, right?
Yes. So all of you have to show me the final area which where you are safe.
Does it have to include that my missile can reach the enemy base or something?
You have to read all the conditions.
Sir, I have read. What do we have to do with these conditions?
Wait, take a minute. I want everybody to answer, right? So let's hold on to your questions. But important thing is that you have to explain me how you did it. What is the answer is a different question. Ready? Kaushiki.
Sir, I did not understood the third point. Distance between missile base is 300.
So a missile can shoot from here. This is your enemy base. And this is your missile base, right? My missile. And distance is 300. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So you can take a minute. Shaurya.
We are safe as long as we are in 100-kilometer range of our base.
Uh-huh.
Because if the distance is 300 kilometers, so only 1/3 of the 300 kilometers is the area where we can be safe, because the enemy missile can go up to 200 kilometers.
Mhm. So can you draw this for me and, so give me an answer like it should be a circle or it should be a semicircle or what kind of a shape it will be?
Ranges of where I can be safe is a circle with a radius of 100 kilometers.
So
The distance between both bases is a line segment, and the range each missile can hit is also a circle.
sorry, take your minute, okay, and try to solve it. I want to know the what kind of shape will be the where you are safe. What is the shape of the result, the area in which you are safe? Manan.
Sir, can the missile hit in the air also?
Yes.
Okay.
Manan,
Yeah.
what will be the shape of the area where I'm safe?
I mean, it will be a circle.
Okay. Ishita?
Sir, it can be a semicircle also from upwards if we see, because missile will not go down underground. I-
Okay. So you are saying like is kind of a 3D. So let's assume it's a surface, okay? So we are just talking about surface, a plain flat surface. So what will be the shape of the area where I'm safe?
So then it would be a circle
Of radius,
of radius 100 kilometers.
okay? Janil,
Sir, it has to be a circle. Sorry, like since it's only on the surface, then we could have it as a semicircle.
semicircle. Kaushiki,
So it's the like it's as they said 100-meter circle, but you can go behind as much as you want because they won't come, right? Like you can go ahead till it 100 kilometers ahead that they can attack, but behind you can go like infinity. However the space is there.
okay? Okay,
Or you
so let us solve this problem together. So what does this mean? That I have to draw a circle with 100-kilometer range, correct? Right? So let's assume this is that 100-kilometer range. Then let us draw a 200-kilometer range. So which means I don't know how to increase this space, but let's assume this is the 2x circle, right? And this is the my missile. This is the enemy missile, right? How much is this distance?
200 kilometers.
200 kilometers.
And this is 100, right?
Yes.
So this is all total 300. And then what does it say?
I am safe only in my missile range.
So you are safe here. So Kaushiki, you got what the problem with your answer? If you are here, right, you are not safe. That is what the last thing means. Kaushiki?
yeah.
Okay. So you need to be very careful about all these things. But the actual question will start now. So where I want to ask you if uh, this distance is 250.
Sir, can our missile counter attack their missile? Like if they hit a missile and we hit their missile, so
No interceptors.
yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Sir, so we will be safe. Uh,
Yeah.
so we will be safe in a 50-meter semicircle area.
Think carefully, draw it on paper, and then do it.
I would say don't go within 200 kilometers of your enemy. The entire world is safe for you.
I'd say take an enemy with you and go anywhere you like.
Avnish, I could not understand what you said.
See, when you have an enemy with you, they will not kill their own friends. No?
Oh,
That was just a joke.
of course it is. Guys, it's not that big problem. Shaurya,
As long as the area is in 100 kilometers of your base and not in 200 kilometers of the enemy missile, then you're safe.
Ishita,
As long as you are like in your yeah, in your 100 kilometers area, but we'll subtract that 50 kilometers, which is both in enemy missile area and this my missile. So we'll subtract that thing
this
from
area, right?
between. Yes, sir. That 50-kilometer range. So the leftover portion is the area where we are safe.
Yeah, you're safe here. Kaushiki, do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the purpose of this question? Let me ask you a few more things. If I increase one more circle here, if you have another enemy state around you,
We cannot see your screen.
oh, sorry.
I think one important learning in this kind of a question is you try to do it imaginatively. You may or may not get it, but if you draw a diagram, then it becomes easier to. So it is a general lesson which I learned. Always try to draw a diagram, even when you're trying to solve IJE problem. That gives you the imagination to figure out the solution.
Yes, it's always good to draw out
It's
things.
applicable for even for me, even today for my job. So I guess, yeah, that's a general principle. If you can visualize, nothing like it.
Yes,
So,
and no matter what kind of problems you're solving, you should draw them, okay, on paper to get it.
correct. So coming back to this, right? The reason was I introduced this problem was very important. So as you see, this problem with two circles was very easy, but these conditions can increase, right? You can have one more enemy here, right? Another enemy. Now this is one type of enemy which is having a range in terms of circle, correct? But you can always have an enemy which has a range in a different shape altogether, a rectangle shape. right? So you can have enemy which has a some kind of a landmine which can do this kind of a damage. So when you include all these conditions, right, this problem can be extremely complicated to determine. So let's take couple of problems in real life, right, where all these uh, ranges, inequalities come into uh, come into action. So all of you know GPS, right? All your phones have a GPS.
Yes.
So uh, are you aware how does it work? Shaurya, quickly if you know.
We have a satellite above on in the.
Correct. How many satellites you need? So just to answer, you need 4 satellites to get the correct position. If you have less than 4, then your positions are not accurate or in fact not possible most of the time. Okay.
4 geostationary satellites. If they're not geostationary, they can change.
Maybe that I'm not sure, but yeah. So it should be geostationary, maybe. But
Yes.
anyways, it doesn't matter. Let's assume geostationary, not a problem. But then satellites are not easy to launch, correct?
Yes.
So the real life problem of all these ranges, etc., we have drawn is that you would like to give a coverage to your area of interest on Earth. So there are a lot of variables here. Your Earth is moving on its own axis, and so we are talking about on its own axis. But if it is geostationary, it doesn't matter. Then you need to have your area of interest. They will have their own ranges. Every satellite can cover some kind of a cone area, a circular area on the surface of Earth. Then surface of Earth itself has a kind of a curvature. So considering all those aspects, there could be certain challenges due to mountains, etc. Is also there. So if you consider all these parameters, then you have to make some kind of equation where you can actually decide minimum number of satellites and with what kind of capabilities you need. So satellites will have a different range. So if you are taking an expensive satellite, it might cover 400-kilometer range. But if you are taking a cheaper satellite, it will be covering only 200 range. So if you keep on drawing all these, so these will result into can result into extremely complicated inequalities, in which you have to make sure you are covering most of the area as much as possible with certain conditions or objective, right? You're clear, Manan?
Yeah.
Okay, so now here is the question for all of you. What else you think will require inequalities in general?
So can I give a very general example
Yeah, go ahead.
of today's time? That if we stay in our home within the range, so we'll not get infected from COVID. And if we get out that if we cross the limit of something, so we'll get infected. So it is the
Actually,
condition. We have to
very,
stay in our
very,
home.
yeah, very good example, Ishita, for these days. So, there are a lot of apps which are there. What they are doing is they are tracking all the COVID patients and they are giving you the free path, like where you can move around easily, where it's not what you can say the impacted area or the cordoned area of because of COVID. So yeah, that's a very good example, Ishita. Avnish, anything fascinating science kind of an inequality application you can think of?
Not science as such, but when you go to purchase something outside, you always try to see you get it in a minimum value, and the person who is selling it try to sell it for its maximum value, right? So when kind of both the expectations match, there will be a transaction that will be from inequality to equality.
Correct. So, actually, very good example, Avnish. What we are saying is right. In fact, we have a problem on that, so I'll wait for that. But very, very good example, Avnish, from your side. So, calculating pi, I'll skip this one because we should go for this one. Okay, so triangle inequalities. Now, let's talk about triangles, right? What kind of inequalities you are aware of related to triangle? Can you think of anything? Ishita, you should, I'm sorry?
Sir, inequality in angles.
Tell me what is the inequality in angle?
No, sir, I was just guessing. I don't know much.
गैस मारने का नंबर नहीं मिलता है जनिल, ओके? तो ऑब्जेक्टिव टाइप में मानना चाहिए, यहाँ पे गैस मारने का कोई नंबर नहीं है, वो तो मैंने भी लिख रखा है. I've written down, right? Angles in triangle, sides in triangle. Ishita,
Yes, sir.
do you know any inequalities?
Inequality in triangles can be if all the angles of the triangle, like three angles of the triangle are not equal, sorry. Then it can be inequality.
No, I didn't. Can you repeat?
So if three angles of the triangle are not equal, if it is a scalene triangle or some sort of that thing, so that it can be an inequality.
Maybe you need to refine a little bit, but as of now, let's just, I still didn't get it.
No, what she is just saying is if the triangle is not equal, they are unequal. That's all.
But see, that is a sort of a theorem kind of a thing, right? If it is not equal, of course they can't be equal. That's a basic thing. But then, so let us think of these inequalities. Okay, Manan, are you aware of any?
Yeah, about the sum of two sides of a triangle is always greater than the third one.
Correct. A plus B will be always greater than C. For any two sides, sum of any two sides will be always greater than
The third side.
this.
And C, okay, A, B, C are here small because they're referring the length of the sides.
These are sides, yeah. These are length of sides. And
No,
A, B, C are angles.
C is actually same in small capital letters.
Yeah.
What you written is looking like is big. That's all.
Correct. Yeah.
That's why I just explicitly mentioned it. It's a small c. Yes.
Yeah. Then again, if you go for the angles also, A plus B will always be greater than C. Is it true?
Not.
I don't think so.
I think that can be proved false.
Prove it.
Sir, we can have angles which have two sides as equal to 1 each, and the third side equal to 178.
Okay. So you're saying 178 plus 1 plus 1, right? So
Yes.
in that case, the sum of these two will not be.
Yes.
Perfect. So this inequality does not hold. Okay. There is one equality which always holds true, right? That is,
Sum of angles is 180 degree.
Angles and property.
okay. How many of you can prove it to me right now on an, like, take a paper and prove this to me right now?
Sir, we can, sir,
Think
like it
about
will
it.
take some time.
Wait. So let's talk. Let's ask. I don't know if you've been to one of my workshops. I've done this, but tell me how you can show it right now. Kaushiki, I think she dropped. Janil, I think you should remember from my last workshop.
Sir,
I think I can tell.
sir, I do know. Like if Shaurya wants to go, it's okay.
Okay, so what I was thinking was that if because it has to be a triangle and it has to be a closed figure. So 180 degrees is a straight line, so we can't use 180 degrees. And if we go ahead 180 degrees, then the triangle will have to be made in the opposite side. Therefore, the angles will again be counted in less than 180 degrees.
Avnish, did you get it? What he's saying?
No, I did not.
Okay. So let me prove it for all of you. By the way, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I think
Sir,
with
I know
students.
how to prove.
Could I try?
Okay, tell me.
Sir, I was saying like if we draw a line parallel to any side, so the value of sir, I've drawn it, so maybe that would be the,
Okay, show me.
yes, sir. Mm. Sir, I'm not sure. Actually, uh,
Yes, we can see that.
sir. So here, this value will be equal to 180, right? And then by because then we could use the properties of parallel lines and the transversal line to prove.
Correct. That's a very good one, Janil. But let me show you one more practical way, right? Those who don't know parallel lines. So tear all the angles, you know, and you can always
Sum them up.
no. So
Yeah, this kind of summing only, right?
put them together, yeah. So it will always form a horizontal line here. Okay. So Ishita, how do you find this example of proving 180 degree? Have you seen it before?
So this example, I've seen it. I've seen before. No, I've read it before actually in
Okay.
some book, in lab manual.
Mhm. Anyways, so anyway, that's a good way of trying out things also. So anyways, coming back to my presentation, so in the interest of bandwidth, I'll stop. So I just took only one inequalities, but there are so many inequalities on in the geometrical world possible, and they are always very helpful. The point is, and as Avnish and Shishir already told you, right? If we can draw the problem, it always helps. So if you know these inequalities will always help you in your real life problem, because those inequalities somehow will convert into a triangle or a circle or a rectangle or whatever. But if you know these properties, it will always help you to get a better solution and and you will get the solution faster. So coming back to definitions, right? We have spoken about these three things. So what is variable? Janil,
Hello. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
what is variable?
Sir, like, sir, I visualized it like yes or no. Is it lesser than some value or is it greater than some value?
No, I'm talking about variable. Okay, you will always have something which can change. In this case, in the mobile tower case, your position can change, right? In case of age problem, your age can change. Okay, what is objective, Manan?
Objective is basically something that you're trying to achieve.
I am looking for something more better. I think
Mm,
actually you are right. We are saying a target which we are trying to achieve. So when we say we are trying to achieve something is still not precise, right? You should have something precise you want to get. So that's why I'm using a target, which
a target which you're trying to approach towards.
sorry, what is condition?
Conditions are basically like laws which bind us to what we have to do, what we can do with the sum or with the equation or something like that.
I will not call them laws. Okay. Ishita, you want to define conditions? Ishita? Sorry, you are on mute maybe if you are talking. Okay.
Seems sir connection is lost.
Yeah, looks like. So
The conditions are like constraints.
Constraints
yeah.
or restrictions on the values that can be uh, variable values. Yes. So I think from what Shores said, you kind of rules which can be violated. Rules or
Rules,
laws.
constraints or rules. Yeah, I'll definitely not laws, but yeah, constraints and rules. Okay, so we have 10 minutes remaining and we are going to solve this problem. Can all of you see this problem? Please confirm.
The font size is a little small, so, but still it's readable for me. I'm not sure about others.
I can always increase.
Yes, let's do a little bit. Yeah.
Let me just confirm. Manan, can you see the problem?
Yeah, I can see the problem.
Janil,
Yes, sir. I can also see.
Ishita,
Yes, sir.
Who else we have in the call? Manan, right? Manan, can you see?
Yeah, I can see the problem.
Cool. So you'll have 5 minutes for this problem, and you have to tell me how you are going to solve it.
What's P over here in the unit sales is equal to 70,000 minus 20.
Read it, right? You have to read the question. Let me actually do one thing. I don't know if I can send it as an image in chat.
No.
I don't think I can.
Yes. So people can take screenshots.
Yeah, you can take screenshot for this. Are you guys have you guys taken screenshot?
Yes, sir.
Ishita?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll stop sharing them.
अच्छा तो घर पर चाहिए क्या? ओके दे देता हूँ आप एक बार वो भेज देंगे अगर चाहे मेरे पास शायद होगा मैं भेजता हूँ देखना इसको स्कैन करके भेज दीजिए जिस पर आपको भेजना है भेज दीजिए
Shaurya, how are you trying the problem?
I'm mostly trying the problem by keeping the price above 110 because we shouldn't go in loss, and still trying to keep it low for our sales increase.
Manan, how are you trying? You are on mute, Manan. Ishita, how are you trying?
So I'm not exactly getting it.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Or can you share your? Okay, let me share. Which part you didn't understand? You don't understand. Okay, so tell me, what is your objective? Ishita?
The objective is to sell more and more bicycle and make the profit.
So objective is to make profit, okay? And as much as profit.
Yes.
Doesn't matter how many cycle. If you make the profit by selling one cycle is more than selling 10 cycle, you don't care, right? You just want to make profits, right?
Yes. Yes.
What is your condition?
Condition is that if $110 is to make each bike, you should there should be some profit. If you have to make some profit, you need to increase the rate.
Okay, but what is the condition?
Condition.
Yes.
हेलो, हाँ देखा मैंने, भेजता हूँ 1000 ना.
But what is your variable? Tell me first, what is your variable?
Price can be variable.
I'm sorry, price.
Price.
Okay, and what is your condition?
Condition.
Yeah. If you want to make a profit, what is your condition? What is the minimum price you need, you must have?
Sorry, $110
Is it?
to make one bike.
But is it the minimum to make a profit?
No.
Because even if you make a one bike or even 1,000 bikes for $110, that's the cost, right? To make it. On
Yes, sir.
top of it, you are also investing $700,000.
Yeah, for manufacturing setup
Right?
cost. Uh,
So of course, minimum should be there, but then your condition is slightly more than that, right?
Yes.
And what is your other condition? So one condition is coming from cost point of view, right? That you cannot sell your bike less than this cost.
Huh.
Okay. What is the other condition?
Sir, I wanted to ask you now, what is this unit code?
Can you see the example?
Yes, sir. At $0, you just give away 70,000 bikes.
So what it is saying is, you have to read it, right? This is a demand curve. Okay. So what it is trying to tell you is, if you keep a price X, then this is the unit sales which you can expect. For example, look at the thing where it says at $300, right? Can you see that?
Yes, yes.
So at $300, you might sell. So he did the calculation and he's saying you can sell only 10,000 bikes. You cannot sell more than 10,000. And why is that? If your bikes are expensive, less people will buy. If your bikes are cheaper, more people will buy.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have two conditions, right? If you have to keep minimum prices to make sure it's more than the cost. Right?
Yes. So the range would be between $110 to $300.
You have to decide, right? I don't know. Because at 300, you are still selling 10,000 bikes. Right? So how much
Yes.
money you will make? 10,000 into
10,000 into 110.
why 110? That is at what price you are selling. You're selling at 300, right?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
So how much money you are making?
10,000 into $300.
How much is that?
30,000.
Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, it's 30 lakh.
Okay. So I'll leave the math for you. So that is your money you have got. How much money you have spent?
For advertising and setup costs.
Everything.
7 lakh.
Yeah, 7 lakh. And to make each bike, how much you spent?
30 lakh.
110 into 10,000.
Sorry.
See, this is how you calculate, right? How you sold it. So this is where Amnish has taken the example, right? You have sold it for X amount. The cost is Y. So your profit will be X minus Y, correct?
Yes.
So you have to find the
11 lakh.
where you are getting the maximum. Okay, so let me call everyone now. Shaurya, Manan, Janil.
Yes, sir, I'm there.
Yourself, yeah. So I'll leave you with this question for now. And so let's this time, right, once again a feedback time. So let's start with Ishita. Ishita, how did you find the session?
Sir, very wonderful session it was. Very innovative. I have got to know many new things. and it was very interactive. So,
So, do you like more interactive, or you thought it's probably too much time is taken? What is your take, preference?
uh, I found it to be more interactive, and I like interactive classes.
Okay. So you enjoy it overall.
Yes,
Do you find it very difficult or very like where do you rate? Very difficult, difficult, or easy?
difficult. So things were very new for me. I have not done this before. So grasping everything at once was very difficult, but still I enjoyed.
Okay. Thank you. Manan,
Thank you.
Yeah, I love the session a lot.
have you enjoyed the like so what was the difficulty level for you?
Well, it was somewhat easy. The only thing was like we had to like think in a different way for each question.
Mhm.
That's what I liked about the session.
Okay, that's good. Janil?
Hello. Yes, sir. Sir, it was a good session, but maybe just a second. Yes, sir. I thought maybe it was too long because it's already past 2 hours. But other than that, it was quite a good session.
Okay, good. जैनिल को आज जल्दी जाना है कहाँ जाना है
नहीं सर किधर भी नहीं जाना है सर मतलब 1 hour से मतलब 1 hour 30 minutes से ज्यादा थोड़ा सा
Oh yeah. Actually, 1 hour 30 minutes was planned. Sorry, yeah, I remember that. My bad. Shaurya?
sir it was quite good.
Okay. As long as you enjoyed those 30 minutes, then I guess I'm okay. Otherwise, next time Janil nahi aayega, right?
नहीं सर आऊंगा ना.
Shaurya?
Yes, sir. The session was good. And the difficulty level, well, I've mostly, with inequations, I only mostly think about how we do it in school. This was a new way to think, which is why it was a little bit harder than usual. Otherwise, it was very good.
Cool. So what I would like to do is, right, I have shared the problem with you and I assume you have taken the screenshot. So can all of you send me a solution tomorrow? And once again, for the solution, right, I prefer if you draw stuff. So what I would like all of you to do is use your sketch pens and pens, etc., and draw that stuff on a chart paper. It is okay if some portion you have to redraw or erase, cut and draw again, but it's all fine. But do it in a one chart paper, do it in a bigger size. So how many of you are going to give me an answer by tomorrow?
sir I will try. Sir also I
मतलब
thought
ट्राई करने वालों की हमेशा हार होती है, ठीक है, करने वालों की जीत होती है, ट्राई करने वालों की हार ही होती है क्योंकि वो ट्राई करते रहते हैं जनरली.
sir but like if I add all these values in a Python code or something I could get the answer in minutes.
भाई आंसर लाना है, पाइथन नहीं लगाना है, पाइथन का कोर्स नहीं है ये. So you have to use what Avnish has told you about the quadratic equations. Okay, so I'm giving you a hint. You have to use quadratic equations, and let's see if we get some time. But please make sure you do attempt. Okay, Manan,
Yeah, I will make sure to attempt it.
तुम
And
अटेम्प्ट नहीं करना है भाई, तुमने इजी कहा है, तुमको सॉल्व करना पड़ेगा.
fine, I'll solve it.
So I'm waiting for your answer tomorrow. Shaurya, Ishita, are you guys planning to do it by tomorrow?
Yes, but through which medium I'll send it to you? I mean, how I'm going to your WhatsApp number or something.
Um, uh,
You can send it to me, and or I will add you to the group. So no worries. I'm here. If you're here.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So thank you. All of you can, Shaurya, Manan, Janil, Ishita, you can drop. And thank you very much. I really enjoyed, having this session with you. So thank you once again.
Thank
Yeah,
you, sir.
thanks, Bharat. That was really wonderful session.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye, sir.
Thank you. सर मैंने लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग स्टॉप कर दिया है. So once again,
But
It is still
live, I think
appearing
still
live.
showing